Welcome to Btw Fitness Podcast, and today's episode I'm talking with my fellow coach Jodie Walker, and we are mostly talking about skinny fat for women, fat loss about undereating, overtraining, and I'm excited to have Jodie in my show. So welcome, Jodie, and first of all, tell a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you live, and what you are doing.
Hello, thank you for having me on. I am Jodie Walker. I'm a personal trainer based on the Gold Coast in Australia. All my business is online now, but I did start out working in the gym, and I guess I got into the fitness industry a bit of a backwards way because I went to university for 7 years first and studied biomedical sciences and arts and fell in love with learning about health and the human body and science, and then didn't know what I wanted to do. So I did masters in public health and always thought my mission has always been to save the world from chronic disease. Like that was the goal. So I thought I would be working in some government organization and, doing things for them. But then I couldn't get a job when I finished university. And so I ended up moving to the Gold Coast, doing a personal training course for kind of fun and just for my own knowledge, and then realized that I could help save the world by working with people one-on-one kind of thing.
Wow, no, that's really interesting, and I think that you don't see too much like that. You have already kind of that high education, and you decide that that was nothing for me, or what you actually enjoy doing.
7 years goodbye. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the human body, which has helped me, I think, understand it to a different level now in terms of like from a fitness perspective and nutrition perspective, and also just critical thinking. Like I think that's the best skill I learned from university is how to critically think.
Yeah, no, that's actually I don't know if you don't know about my background is a little bit okay. I was a professional ice hockey player. I studied also in university, but totally different. Like I knew I wanted to do something always with the sport, but I actually went in and I got in with mathematics and statistics. And it's almost like also
they were my worst subjects.
Officially, I never graduated. I was studying economics and kind of everything, but I got almost done. But it was kind of for me I was when I was playing professionally ice hockey. I didn't have too much time, and so it took like I think I was 15 years or over 10 years for sure in university, but never graduated. But it's I'm not regretting. Like you think that like you said that it's 7 years for nothing, but it's not for nothing. You learn so much, and I think that the biggest skill what you learn is that you actually you get the knowledge where to find and how to read like studies, and how to get that information, where to search information, because now it's easy if you go to Google and you just Google search whatever you want, you get like probably 1,000 different answers, and you don't know what is the truth and what is there, because there it's not.
It's so hard, and I think that keeps a lot of people stuck. I even had a client message me this morning with a question. She's like, "Oh, but my friend said this. It was about like high protein and it causes kidney damage," and I'm like, you can't take advice from your friends or family because they've probably heard it from the media or from some source or if you do a Google search and like put it together, maybe it comes out from like something unreliable, but you need to know how to dig further and actually look up the research. Because when you look up the research, I sent her like a meta-analysis and shows there's no evidence to say that protein causes kidney damage, but yeah, it's just so hard. And if you don't know how to get to the truth, then you're going to keep hearing information like that and falling for the myths and then doing the wrong thing and keeping yourself stuck.
Yeah, you are so scared because you don't know what is the truth, and that is like you said, that critical thinking, that where to search. So it's not even, it's completely different what you probably don't need in your everyday work, that years or time what you spent in university or studying, it's never for that you wasted that time. You use it always. You always learn something, and that is that. But that's what you said about that searching that information, and it's in addition for that, if you know how those all social media algorithms are working, like you go to TikTok, you go to Instagram, you are in Facebook, they know you better than you know yourself. So you will get probably like how the only goal is that they keep you longer in that platform. So probably you get like a 8 posts what they know that you like, you enjoy watching, and then maybe 2 or 3 something what is completely different. And it's also it's that thing that like to bring that create that anxiety, like something what is scarce, like that what it gets an attention. You watch it more, like you don't want to hear if you say that protein is safe, protein is good for diet, like in that your example. And if you use all kind of possible scenarios what could happen and you Google search it, you are so scared that you will never take any action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, information paralysis.
Yeah, no, and that brings to a good point. Like you are tell a little bit first about your own fitness journey. Like what kind of struggles, or when did you start it? What did you have some struggles, and what was your?
So I started basically with an eating disorder. I had like anorexia since I was 12 years old till about probably 27 or so a very long time. And yeah, I hated my body. I thought I had to starve myself to look my best. And so I spent years under eating, and I wasn't really into exercise though. So at least I wasn't overtraining, but I was very unhealthy. And that's where I ended up kind of in that skinny fat body, because I did put on some weight to keep everyone happy, but I was still super skinny. And I was just like, I was so ashamed of my body, so insecure. I would go to the beach and wear a t-shirt because I was just like too scared to be seen in a bikini. And yeah, but people would look at me from the outside, and when I was in jeans and like, you know, a t-shirt or something, they'd be like, oh, you're fine, you're lucky, you're skinny. But they didn't know like the internal battle going on in my head with food, and that I was actually really unhealthy, because you can be skinny and it's your body composition that kind of determines whether you're actually at a healthy body fat percentage or not. And I was not, because I had too much body fat, not enough muscle, and not enough weight on me at all. So that's where I started. And then I discovered macros, and that's actually what helped me heal the most from my eating disorder, was learning how to track my food and understanding, or beginning to understand, that I actually need to eat carbs. They're not going to make me fat. If I eat more, then I'm going to fuel my training better. I was working out by this stage, and yeah, I started to see better results from my training when I started to eat a little bit more, and allowing myself to still control it in a very gradual, slow way kind of made me see and realize that it was benefiting me, not making me fat. And so I kept going with that, and that's how I kind of got out of that struggle, I guess, and healed my relationship with food, and then fell in love with strength training.
And how long it was, like how old are you now? You said that until 27. How old are you now?
I am 34, about 34. To turn 35.
Okay. Oh, cool. So that is like, it's like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when you kind of said that now.
Yeah, I first really started to, that's when I think that's when I did the personal training course. And because I did that as well, I was kind of going to the gym, but not doing things properly. I was doing HIIT classes. I was doing some of my own weight training, but not following a program. But I still could see some changes, because I was so newbie, right? Like when you're a beginner, you can get away with trying some things and not following a program and winging things, and you'll still make a little bit of progress, but then to continue that, you actually have to start doing things properly. And that's what I learned when I did the personal training course. And that's when I decided that I really have to like get in shape, because I was like, I can't be a personal trainer if I don't have the body.
Yeah.
You know, how are people going to trust me?
But that is a so good point what you said, like that what I see, and I think many people still are struggling, like when you are newbie, you get so much like it's not it doesn't like what you said. It's funny like about those heat classes, doing like, I'm just thinking like about doing some workouts from YouTube and something like when you are newbie, you start doing something, you start to feel better, you start to see results, and it to be honest, it doesn't matter that much what you are doing. You do something, it's everything is better than nothing, and you will get results. You do heat workouts, you start running, you start going for spinning classes. It really doesn't matter. You go to gym, you know, you don't have to really pay attention about your programming or what you are doing, and you will see results. You start to maybe track your calories or reduce something, cut sugars out or cut carbs out or whatever. You just make a little bit change what you already for sure know you should be doing, and you start to see results. But then it's not the problem is that, you know, you think that you are seeing progress, you are seeing results, and but then if you go like 6 months in, 12 months in, you start to see that now what is happening, that I'm not seeing progress like I used to see. And then you know, if you are like, I know if you work with somebody, you follow some YouTube workouts or something, just some random exercises, and then you are kind of so fell in love for those programs, for those instructors who are just making you basically sweat, and but there is no really like progressive overload, or they are not like programmed for months, or they are just made for one workout, and you are not, that's going to stop your progress. And then you are like, that what is happening? But because with that program, I love that my YouTube star or influencer who is doing those workouts, but you are not seeing results. And that is the hardest part mentally, to say that maybe that's not the right way, maybe that's not the best way to do it, and then to go away from that.
For a lot of people, it's actually the nutrition that's driving that change at the start. And so, like, for example, with weight loss, if you start not eating as much food and start exercising to drive up your energy expenditure, it doesn't matter what you do, you will lose weight. And in my case, like, it's a lot harder, I think, when you're already quite skinny, like you don't need to lose weight, you need to lose body fat. But because I increased my carb intake and increased my food intake and was doing a bit of training, that helped me see, I guess I felt better, and that was progress to me, but it was very short-lived. And I think for a lot of people, they need to realize that if you're going to wing it, it's going to be very short-lived progress, and you are going to end up wasting your time and keeping yourself stuck if you continue trying to wing it, expecting to get better and better results. Like, all of my progress really came from when I hired my own coach and started following a structured program and structured nutrition that was aligned with that program.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. And if you know, to be like that's what I see it from my clients, and but you have more personal experience like that. If you basically know what you're supposed to be doing, like that, what, like you have studied in university, you have kind of done, but then somebody's coming to tell you like that, to lose fat you have to start eating more, and that is mentally like that.
It's the mind.
That's like that. No. To lose fat, it's eat less, move more. But that's what I do. I actually a lot of with my clients too. Like, I just had a seminar, but that is the hardest thing to do. Like it's not for everybody. For the most people, it's to eat less, move more, you lose fat. But if you are in a point like you have been earlier, or somebody who have been yo-yo dieting for years, having been dieting for several months or years, I have had clients with the decades dieting mindset, trying to lose weight all the time. And like that was, I think, your case also. You said that you had that relationship with like you were already pretty skinny, but you needed to lose fat. And basically you have two options. It's the option, first option is that you eat less, move more. But if you are in that point that that's not possible anymore, your energy levels are already low, your sleep is bad, you have no energy, and your amounts of foods are already so small that you can't do it's going to be impossible. Then you have to go.
But the media and like the information out there, that's why I'm so passionate about putting that information, especially for skinny fat women out there, or men, but like skinny fat, because there's not enough out there saying that weight loss and fat loss aren't the same thing. You don't need to eat in a calorie deficit to lose body fat at the start, especially if you're a specific type of person, and the skinny fat person is that person.
Yeah.
And even now, like I'm eating more food than ever and I'm still losing body fat.
Yeah, no, it's
which doesn't fit the rules, right? Like we're taught these certain rules, but the human body is very dynamic. And I think people need to understand that you need to follow your body, and like everyone is going to respond slightly differently. Everyone is going to need a slightly different approach in many cases as well. Like the basics will work, yes, but there's like nuances to that. And if you like understand the body and know how to work with that, manage stress, all of that, then that's how you're going to get a better result, like adjusting things to match and align with your body rather than following these rules that are made for like general populations that might not even apply to you.
Yeah, I would say that you still need calorie deficit, or you always need calorie deficit to lose body fat. But to understand that if you're, let's say, your maintenance, like now your body would need, like I just tell an example for my one of my clients, like Sylvia, her maintenance with like really active lifestyle, her maintenance should be 2.5, around there, 2,500 calories. And when she came to me, she was eating around 1,300 calories. Nothing happened, like not losing weight. Like same things what happened earlier were not working anymore. Like and there was like she didn't feel good. And then I said, okay, that's the, like I explained, two options: either eating less, moving more. But when that is already with very active lifestyle, I think averaging 14,000 steps a day, and working out in addition and eating 1,300 calories, that no way. We start to go in opposite direction. We started to add calories, like 150 calories per week more using reverse dieting. And now she's now 2,300, like and still not gaining weight. Actually, during that process, it took like it's taking some time, but during that process, she actually lost some weight and lost some inches, like some waist got smaller. So she lost fat while eating more. But it's not that there is something weird that she's able to eat more, or metabolism got faster. No, she's still in a calorie deficit. Like if maintenance calories should be, maybe in her case, you never know. That's why we are searching the highest point that she's actually able to maintain her weight, and then staying there. And then when you start to reduce calories, you are in a lot better place. Like in her case, if we get 2.4 somewhere there, and then you reduce your calories, let's say 400 calories, she's eating 2,000 calories and starting to lose fat. And I think what is the difference from 1,300, you get 1,009, 2000 calories, and you start actually seeing more progress. Plus you are eating so much more, you have more freedom, you have your energy level, sleep, everything is going to be better. So it takes just some time, but it's possible, and you should
Well,
do
I
it.
think as well, like people need to understand, like this is what I was saying before, you don't need a calorie deficit to lose fat, because yes, your body needs to be in a calorie deficit technically 100%, but you don't need to actually aim for a calorie deficit, because what you need to realize is if you eat at maintenance, you could still be in a calorie deficit at certain times of the day or certain days of the week if you're putting that energy into your training and training harder as a result of eating that little bit more, or when you eat more, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis increases as well. So often you'll eat a little bit more, eat at maintenance, you'll end up burning more. And so you end up in a calorie deficit without actually needing to aim for a calorie deficit. And that's what I find especially in the skinny fat situation. Every girl that comes to me thinks they need to be in a calorie deficit, and they're stuck. They've tried being in a calorie deficit and it's not working. As soon as I make them eat at maintenance, they start losing body fat.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's the way how, like, it was just a little wording. Like I got your point, and hopefully you got mine also. Like that you are, but it's not. It's that changing that goal, and that is usually the mentally. That's the scariest thing to do.
That's
If you have been
thing.
if you have been in that mindset, then you know that your ultimate goal is still you want to lose more weight, you want to lose more fat, but to understand that to get there in a sustainable way and to look and feel actually a lot better, there is a road what you have to follow through, and you have to go against everything what you have learned from fat loss, against everything what you have done in the past, and there is.
That's what I say a lot. Like it's often one of the benefits of having a coach, and one of the reasons I've always had coaches in my journey, is that the process is probably going to look different to how you think it should look. And so it's very hard to trust that for yourself if you're only relying on your own knowledge. But if you can put your trust into someone that's like higher than you and just do what they tell you to do, that's kind of how you overcome that barrier of following the plan when it looks different to how you think it should.
Yeah, no, but and that is the also like that, to be a coach, that somebody is actually trusting the process. Because what is usually happening? What is happening when you are eating, let's say 1,300 calories, and you should get 2,500. When you start to eat more food, when you start to what is happening, like scale weight, obviously it's going to go up. It's going up, and then that is the point, like that when many people when they start, I should raise my calories. You go out weekend, you go like that is totally different. Go out or having a cheat meals or cheat days or long weekends, and when you eat more, because that is totally different to go out, drink, eat, when you like and having those calories that way, or if you are actually eating with the purpose, like that, mostly nutrient foods. It doesn't mean that you can eat whatever you want. It's that eating just the same foods. When you are kind of dieting, you are just eating more. You are eating a bit more protein, a bit more carbs, like and it's not that you eat processed foods or something. It still should be mostly healthy, whole foods, and just a bit more energy that you have more energy to do it. And that's what was for you the mentally, when you were doing this for yourself, like what is the biggest hurdle, like that when you started to do this, and do you remember that time when how you felt during that time?
I think definitely watching the scale go up, and I always had little in my head, it was like, once I get to 55 kilograms, I'm going to look fat. Or once I get to 60 kilograms, I'm going to look fat. So disassociating that number from what my body would look like was a massive hurdle. And I think, yeah, just eating more, especially for me, like it's so easy to compare yourself and be influenced by other people around you. And I will go home to my family and they will see how much I eat and they will think something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Because people are just so, like, I'll go to friends' events and stuff and I will be like piling my plate and like eating it all, and their plates will be like empty. And people are just so used to not eating enough food and they think that's normal. Then they look at me and it's just like, are you okay? And not letting that get to me at the start was actually quite hard as well.
Yeah, no, I think, and that's a good point what you just said. That it's like that social pressure, like for somebody like in your situation, like probably you knew what you were doing, like maybe it was like something what you have been used to do, like your family knew you better, like that you have always took like just the small portions, and then at one point and you are like that you are eating like 3 times more, and they're like, what the fuck, what is that? Are you okay, are you sick, what do you have? And
my mum will always be like, are you cooking for the family? And I'll be like, no, I'm just cooking for myself.
Yeah, but it's also an opposite. Like if somebody is like trying to lose weight and they know they are in party or somewhere, then they are not allowing themselves there. Like it's just, I can't eat here. They eat little, and nothing what they really want, and then they get home. They get when nobody is seeing, and then they are binging or eating.
Yeah.
Then like when nobody's
well, even
seeing.
in that weight loss example, actually, like I've got clients that struggle with that social pressure of going out and having to stick to something that's aligned with their goals, and they get that pressure from friends like, oh, it's just one meal and that kind of thing. And you really have to be strong. Like any goal you have to make sacrifices. And you have to stand in your power and be like, no, this is what I'm doing. Set those boundaries. This goal is important to me. And, like short-term, what's the word? Short-term sacrifice for long-term gain, right?
Yeah, no, that's how it is. And it's what you think that it's like also food, like we have always those temptations, they come like there, you go out with the friends, in that moment you see that everybody else, they have a drink, then they will ask, you want a second, you want a third, you want a fourth. But if you decide before and you go out, like what I love to say that for my clients, that decide go out today, it's going to be one and that's it. Or some days it's that today I'm going to drink only water, or I'm not going to have any drinks. Or when you go out, you decide that it's when you have rules on place with what you are okay, and then sticking with those rules, like that's like, it's kind of same thing, like that you are learning to keep promises what you make for yourself. It starts exactly. Everything like with your workouts, you make promise to work out 3 times a week, you get started at least 3 times
it's hard, like I get it, but you really have to just, like, that's what I say, you just got to stick to the plan, make it, and then don't let yourself down with excuses, because that's what people do. They'll make the plan with the best intentions, but then they'll make excuses of why they shouldn't stick to it, when really they just need to stick to it.
Yeah, and even it's not going to work every single time. There are going to be days crazy things are happening in life that you are not able to stick to it, but to get started thinking what is the simplest thing today, and getting back tomorrow, and not letting that even you miss workouts, even you have a bad meals for a day, 2 days, even for a week or a month, but it's never too late to get back on track and starting all over. So, but ultimately it comes to that you learn to keep those promises what you make for yourself.
Yeah, and just keep going. Like you said, the most important thing is not giving up, and to go, like, because it's going to take longer than you want, no matter what, if you're doing things properly and, you know, getting sustainable results. So you just got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Everyone gets off track and it's fine. But the main thing is you don't give up and you don't stop, because that's the only way you'll not get there.
So let's talk about that. What you said earlier, you mentioned a little bit about your heat. You were doing a lot of like heat workouts and that kind of workouts. Like you were more chasing like that feeling, and not really like, now you said you fell in love with the strength training, and but talk a little bit about how was it for you earlier, what you were doing and how you felt like when you were under eating and doing those heat workouts.
So when I first moved to the Gold Coast, I joined this gym that had classes and went to the HIIT classes, and it was like a social thing, and, you know, made some friends, and it was fun. Like, so it was great because it got me to that gym environment, but I actually ended up losing more weight by doing it, you know, and I was getting compliments though, but I wasn't like, still wasn't proud of my body. And I don't think, like, looking back now, I didn't look great. So I don't know why I was getting compliments, but I think as soon as people see some kind of change, especially when it looks like weight loss, they're like, oh, wow, what are you doing? Because they want it for themselves. And they don't realize that I didn't actually need to lose weight. I needed to lose fat. And the HIIT classes, they weren't actually helping me do what I really needed. And what I really desired was to get a like toned body, right? And so I needed to build muscle, and HIIT doesn't help with that. So I was putting in all the work. I was enjoying it to an extent, but I was getting the wrong result really that I desired.
Yeah. No, but how you felt during that process? Like what made you make a change?
The personal training course, actually. Yeah.
Okay. And how you like when you went away from that heat mindset, like because that I get the point, like that is like that you are chasing that feeling, like you are not going to, when you go to strength train, you are not going to feel right away, right after workout, you feel 1,000 times better. When you do some heat class, you do some cardio session, you sweat, you are like that. And harder it was, you're gonna hate it during the workout, but then after you are like that, wow, that this feels so good, and you are kind of chasing that feeling. But then those results, what you get, like you said, that it's obviously you see some kind of results, but they were not results what you were actually looking for.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't feel better in my body, you know, like, and that's what I really wanted. I really wanted to be confident in my body and be able to wear a bikini on the beach and not care.
Yeah. And what is then like when you started to, how did you make that change? How like, because I bet I have no idea, but I'm just thinking like that for somebody, how many times a week you were doing heat workouts?
3 to 4 days a week.
Yeah. Okay. So for somebody who is doing 3 to 4 heat workouts in a week, how did you change it? How many times a week you started to strength train? Were you still doing?
I changed that to 4 days of weightlifting or weight training.
Right away, that you leave heat completely away, or?
Well, it was kind of different because that's when I got a coach.
Okay. Yeah.
And I followed that program. So yeah, I completely put my trust into my coach and dropped everything that I was doing and started doing what he told me to do.
And how do you remember how you felt like those first weeks, like that you were you missing that feeling after what you got after heat?
I don't know why, but I just had I think I was excited for what I could see coming without really, I don't know. I think just because I had a coach now and I was like getting serious, and for some reason, it was very easy for me to just let go of the outcome, when it was going to happen, what it would look like exactly, and just put my whole trust into him and be excited for the process. I set a deadlift goal actually, and that really helped me I think, get out of that. Like I started to feel good from the strength training, because every time I did deadlifts and I saw I was getting stronger, I was like, this is really cool. I felt really empowered. So it was like chasing a new feeling, I guess.
Yeah. No, I love it. And that's what you just mentioned is it's so important that you still like that, even because earlier, if you have been trying to lose weight and lose fat and you set those goals, you have maybe, like for most people, I know it's the goal is to lose scale weight. And then you are just chasing that lower number on the scale. And but then when you are in like you were in that point that you had to start to eat more and to get to feel those results what you were chasing for. And when that goal was not anymore to get scale going down, you have to have some other goals. And usually like setting some, like you said, that you had a deadlift goal, like that you are trying to make some form of progress, like always what is actionable goal, like what actions you can actually do. Because to be honest, like weight loss goals, they are good in a long term, but if you set, like I still have or when clients are coming to me, they set weight loss goals, weekly weight loss goals, that I want to lose 1 kilo or 2 pounds this week. Is that no, that's going to be outcome. And that is usually, it's a very bad goal to set those goals like that. You can't do anything about it. Instead of focusing on those action-based goals, like what are leading to that. If it's going to be having your step goal, eating your salad, eating your protein, hitting your calories, those are what you can every single day, what you can achieve, and that they are leading to that weight loss goal. But for you, it was in that point, it was that weightlift goal to get stronger, actually, which is kind of, I think did it help you to stay motivated with your workouts when you had a new exercise what you enjoyed doing, and then you had like that some number where you wanted to hit?
Yeah, so I think like the biggest thing there, what I find is if you have an outcome goal, so the deadlift was still like an outcome goal, but you can't attach a time frame to it, because that's going to drive you crazy, because it's always going to take a different amount of time to what you think it should. And so if you're aiming for 1 kilogram loss per week, and you know, there's so many factors that go into scale weight that are out of your control, and it might not happen. And then that's going to lead to disappointment, and then you giving up, and all of that like negative feedback loop. So yeah, if you have an outcome goal, don't attach a time frame to it, because it's going to take a different amount of time to what you think. And then having those action-based goals leading to the outcome, you can have a time frame to those. They're great. Like, so for me, that would have been like, getting my workouts in every single week, aiming to improve on last week a little bit, hitting my calories, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, but and that is ultimately like what leads to that. And then because it's now, especially in a social media time now, how it is you are comparing yourself with somebody else, and that's the hardest part, is to see that you don't see there is not one coach or who is promoting their program, who is putting post in social media that look at my client Sarah lost 10 pounds in a year, like what is probably like it's a realistic what is happening for many people. It's still great progress, depending like situations, but what you are pushing, everybody is like, or if you are posting something about your own journey, you are not putting that I lost 3 kilos, gained 4 next month because it was too restrictive. You don't hear, you put that for after first month, and then you don't never hear it like that, how it was like because it's not hard to get scale weight going down, or for some people it is, but for most people, if you are like you want to get just scale weight going for down, for I can get, like I had an episode with my clients, like 4 days 5 kilos or 4.5 9 pounds. It's not you when you manipulate with carb intake, sodium, fiber, go sweat out last water what you have in your body, you are losing scale weight. But it's going to be next day when you are eating more, when you are drinking again, having some what your body is completely normal that it's holding water, and when you do those things, it's the scale weight is back, but it's fat what you want to lose, and that is what takes a bit longer time. But
takes a lot longer. Yeah.
What about then for those workouts, like what kind of routine for if somebody is like a skinny fat, what how many, like, because it's obviously that number, how many times a week you should work out, that's for every person it's a different, like for beginner I would say that 2 to 3 times a week. If you are starting from zero, maximum 3 times, never ever more. But for somebody like what kind of ratio you would say that for strength training, cardio, like of course there is always some individual preferences, but in general, what kind of number you would say, how many times a week strength training? And
I think 3 to 4 days is that sweet spot. For some people 3 days won't be enough. For a lot of people though, it is enough. But if you want to do 4 days, I think that's great as well. But yeah, most people, that's what's realistic. And, you know, it's better to aim for 3 days per week, knowing that you can get in every single workout and put 100% into those 3 days, than to try and aim for 4 and then end up missing some weeks and then feeling bad about it, or half-assing all 4 workouts. Like, you need to go into that gym with intention and give it your all every workout. So I think, it depends on the person. If you're intermediate to advanced, then 3 days probably isn't enough. But 3 to 4 days, I think that's great.
What about then cardio?
That depends on the person. From what I find, it really depends on your training history. If you are someone that has only ever done cardio, then you probably need to give it a break for a while. If you're someone that has never done cardio, then there isn't harm in, like, it can actually support your weight training if you do it from a perspective of improving your fitness. So it can help with your results, but you shouldn't be doing it then for weight loss or fat loss at the beginning. And if your goal is weight loss, then I don't like doing cardio up front, because I like to leave it to later down the track when you start plateauing and you need to bring out something to continue that progress, right? So the body's going to keep adapting to the stimulus that you give it, and you need to keep increasing the stimulus to keep driving that progress. So adding cardio later is a way to do that. But in saying that, I do like to manage non-exercise activity thermogenesis through a step target. So I don't count that as cardio, but I do get my clients to make sure they are walking every single day. And the biggest difference between that and cardio is the stress it puts on the body. So walking is great to drive up energy expenditure without stressing the body. Cardio is an extra stress on the body, and it's really important that you are managing your stress load. Otherwise, you are not going to adapt in a positive way.
No, I love it. And that's the like, there's nothing wrong with the cardio. Like you should do it, and for your heart health and for everything. And it's not that you should not, but especially if you are a person like who are many, especially women who are trying to lose weight, they are doing like excessive amount of cardio, like what you were past, like 4 HIIT workouts or 4 or 5 times longer like cardio sessions and or group coaching sessions. And then from there, you know, you are trying to like kind of burn those calories, and then, but you don't understand that how much stress, like you are kind of doing everything. You are trying to do everything at once, and that is the like that, and that is what I see the biggest problem and mistake is that your goal is to improve your cardio, getting stronger, more toned body, lose fat, and then you are doing everything at once. You are trying to do everything at once when in a longer period of time, that when you would focus, let's say 6 months from now, you are still going to fitness, you are still having probably same goals. But if you do focus 1 month getting stronger, next month you focus on losing fat or whatever, but just that putting a little bit different your goals and not trying to do everything at once. You are first of all, you send right signals to your body, like that you are not because they are all competitive signals. Like you put a lot of stress with the cardio, you put and the signal what you are sending is that to become more effective. And when you try to get stronger, you're sending that build more muscle, get stronger, and those are competitive signals. And when you can do both, there is nothing wrong doing both, but not overdoing at the same time. And when you focus a little bit on periodizing everything, you get a lot better results in long term. And then if you think 6 months from now, year from now, you are in a lot better place. You have seen a lot more progress if you try to do kind of everything at once.
Well, I think it comes down to having that being detached from when the time or what the time frame looks like, because it's that need to rush or that feeling like, oh, I have to make it happen in a month or 12 weeks even, right? And so then you feel like you have to do as much as possible to get the best result because you've got that time frame attached. But at the end of the day, most people can't handle doing everything at once, right? Not with life as well. And even if it's only for a short time, right, they're not going to get the results that they think they're going to get. And then they end up giving up, trying another method a few months later, when if they just did bit by bit and extended that time frame out, or don't even have a time frame, like honestly, the best results come when you get rid of the time frame altogether and you just learn to enjoy that process in some way.
And that is the hardest part to do. That is the hardest part to do, to let that time frame go and say that I don't care, because usually we overestimate what we can achieve in a month, in a 3 months, but then underestimate, especially in fitness, what is there to in 6 months, in 1 year, or even longer than 1 year. I don't think that in fitness there is not many people who think longer than 1 year, because 1 year is already that's already like, if somebody's thinking that where I'm going to be in 1 year, that's already, you are in probably like in top 1-2%, because most people, those goals are 1 week, 2 weeks, keep going, and or maybe you can think it 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but never longer. And that is the funny fact that because if you ask that why I don't get results in a month or 2 months, I haven't lost any weight, but that's we are all so individually different that if you are like, what I see from my clients, and I'm sure you do the same, like there is big variance regardless how perfect you are. It doesn't tell anything, because I have had clients who have you are doing everything perfectly for first 4-5 months and nothing really happens, that they should get more results. But there are little things like sleep, stress, what you are not even really thinking about it. And then when something happens, you get a little bit better sleep, you get a little bit rid of your stress, suddenly you see those results. Like it can come in 1 month, and every results like that you are getting results if you, let's say 1 year or 9 months, 6 months. That is usually the time frame where you get what you deserve. Like if you are really
if you're consistent and putting
if you are
in
consistent, putting work 6 to 12
putting
months.
in the right effort, I should say as well, because there's a difference in putting in effort and putting in the right effort.
And it's not about being perfect, but when you are consistent enough, it's guaranteed. It's not
exactly. And I think, like I was saying to a client, or even with my own progress, actually, like you have to trust the process like 100%, because there will be times when it looks like nothing is happening, and you have to still just trust that it is, especially with fat loss. And like when I go into a deficit, usually the scale doesn't change for like the first 2 months. Doesn't change at all. The last time I went into a deficit, the scale went up.
Okay.
Like, you know, because I get stressed and I hold on to water really easily. So yeah. And then what has it been now? Like 6 months later or something, and I'm not even in a deficit anymore. And I must be, but I'm losing body fat and the scale is going down still. Like it will happen, but there will be periods where it looks like it's not happening. And that's when you really have to trust and just keep going anyway. But you also have to know the difference between that it's actually happening, how to read those signs in your body, and something needs adjusting because you're plateaued. Like there is that difference as well. So
no, well said. That's so good. What about then, you mentioned about when you're like I know we have been chatting a while, but the last thing I wanted to talk a little bit about those carbs, like what you said that you were scared to eat carbs, and then when you actually allowed yourself, you started to eat more carbs. What happened? And tell a little bit more about your relationship with carbs, and what if somebody's who is listening who is scared to eat carbs and having still mindset that carbs are enemy. Tell a little bit.
It's crazy how it impacts our head. And even now, like my relationship with food is a lot better. Like it's great, but there's still this like thing around numbers, right? So my carb target recently went up to the highest it's ever been. And because that number is so high and I've never hit it before, and I don't see anyone else having to hit that number, I'm just like, are you serious? Is this really? Like, it just seems you really have to like let go of all the ideas in your head of what is right or wrong. But yeah, when I eat more carbs and fuel my training properly, my results get better. Like I get stronger, I feel a lot better, I feel like I have so much more energy. And I think that's what a lot of my clients notice first is if they're eating the right amount of food, they feel great, they feel better, and then everything else in their life changes because they can put more into their work, even they can put more into their relationships, they can put more into their strength training and get like fuel that properly to then get better results from that. So yeah, I don't think I answered the question. I went off on a tangent.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because that is actually what I love. It's that to understand like that, how that your nutrition, food, what you are eating, that it's really like you said, fuel for your body, and it's not only your workouts where you improve it. When you are allowing to eat enough, because usually if you are under eating, especially for longer, it affects to everything. Like to understand like that calorie deficit, it's a stress for your body. Your body don't want to be in a calorie deficit. You are putting your body under stress. You want it or not, but that's what you are doing. It affects then your hormones, your everything, like how you are sleeping. Your sleep, usually when you start to feed your body properly, you start to sleep better. You have more energy. You have, it's not only your workouts. Obviously, you will see huge difference in your workouts, how much more progress you are able to make. You are able to use heavier weights and really understanding it, that how it affects to your body. And plus there are also other benefits, that you're probably moving more, you have more energy during the day, you are not tired anymore.
That's a massive one as well. People don't pay enough attention to non-exercise activity because it's meant to be subconscious, right? It's stuff that we don't realize, like moving your hands around, like when you're talking and stuff, like subconscious stuff. But that's all energy, and that actually accounts for a massive part of your energy expenditure. So if you are eating more and then as a result kind of like moving more throughout the day without realizing, you're actually going to burn more energy. So there's like this fine line of how much more you should eat kind of thing. But yeah, it's
that is the hardest pill to swallow, is that that energy what you are eating, actually more, like you said, without moving hands, being a little bit more active, you are burning more calories than you do in your heat session. and you don't need any motivation to get that energy. It's coming automatically. So what about then, what was the biggest fear of carbs, like when you eat more? Like, obviously tell a little bit, if you don't know, like how it's affecting to your body. Like, carbs are source of energy and they hold some amount of water, so how it's affecting?
I literally thought if I ate like a cookie over my regular food intake, or if I ate 10 grams of rice over my regular food intake, I thought I would get fat overnight.
Wow.
So that was the hardest thing for me. Like, I remember being like, I had a boyfriend at the time, and he would try and like get me to have a taste of something, and I would like refuse because I was so scared of like a tiny amount of food extra making me fat.
Yeah. But you are living experiment that it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm so passionate now, like, that carbs are good.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have diabetes and blood sugar issues, then eat the carbs.
Yeah.
And even if you're overweight, like, I think it's important to understand, like, you still need to be, you should be eating them because they are the best workout fuel for your body. And unless you want to give up carbs for life, like, yes, if you cut them out, you'll lose weight most likely because you've created a calorie deficit, but you're going to have to keep that up forever if you want to keep the weight off. So you may as well enjoy them in moderation, hit your protein target, hit your calorie target, and then you'll get to your goal, whether that's weight loss or body recomposition, muscle gain.
Yeah, no, that is so well said. Like, it's very individual, but I don't think honestly that you should never ever cut carbs completely out from your diet, unless, like you said, if you are somebody who is like really inactive person, not really working out, sitting mostly in office, maybe you can try it.
Some people do better on I don't like saying that, but I said it. Some people do better not eating as many carbs, but that is not most people. Like, if you've got autoimmune conditions or diabetes, like I said, or some people just feel better eating higher fat, higher protein diet, lower carb, but generally you want to eat some carbs.
Yeah, no, it's individual, and you must try those things. Like, if you like, it's not always mistake, or it's not a mistake if you try for keto or some other low carb diet for a short period of time. It's not a mistake. Even most likely you will lose weight. If that is something that you feel like that's not for you, not the right way, you can't do it anymore, you gain back probably even more what you have, and you say that I did that mistake. It's not a first time. It's not a mistake to try some different things. That's not a mistake. But if you repeat that same mistake over and over again, because initially it made you lose weight, and you think that it was not just the right time, or you just didn't have the motivation, and you repeat that same cycle over and over again, then it's becoming a problem, and then it's a mistake. Trying first time something, if it's working for you, like keto, intermittent fasting, but if you can't imagine to do it 5 years from now or in your near future, then that's not going to be sustainable anyways. So it doesn't matter what kind of results you get.
Exactly.
Perfect. So Jodie, thank you so much for your time. And when people want to follow you somewhere, where to find you, if somebody wants to work with you, how to get contact you, what is the best place to find you?
Probably my website, that is coachjodie.com, and that has all my links to, I'm mostly active on YouTube at the moment, but I do have Instagram and all of that.
So what is your YouTube channel?
It's just under Jodie Walker.
Okay.
And then Instagram is Jodie Walker, but with an A, because So JodieWalka for Instagram, because they didn't have the ER Walker available.
Okay, no worries. I will put those links to show notes, so make sure you check them out, and please follow for Jodie or work with her. She's amazing coach, and I can only
Same back to you.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Jodie, and thank you for listening. If you found any value from this, let us know. Tag us in the comments. Share story about this episode in your social media, or those written reviews who have done them, leave them in podcast. They are helping a lot. So thank you so much who have done already those in Spotify or in iTunes, written 5-star reviews. They help a ton. So thank you so much, and talk to you soon.